In business, Siemens, the largest engineering company in Europe, is set to construct gas and wind power plants in Egypt after the German engineering firm was awarded contract valued at $9 billion for the project. Described as the biggest single order in its history, the contract is poised to bolster Egypt's power production, increasing the North African country's power production capacity by 16.4 gigawatts. These deals are based on announcement of intent authorized at the Egypt Economic Development Conference in March last year. In terms of the newly signed contract, Egypt will take delivery of Siemens' 3 ready-to-use gas steam power machines with a capacity of 4.8 gigawatts, which will start operating in 2017. American energy firm General Electric is gearing up to further exploit the economic potentials in sub-Saharan African markets, especially Nigeria and Ethiopia. At the just concluded World Economic Forum on Africa, General Electric said it will increase its capital outlay to $10 billion over the next half-decade. The conglomerate will target power, health, and locomotive opportunities in several African countries. Nigeria is prime target, offers a ready market with the numerous gaps in infrastructure and a new government looking to drive change. Jeff Immelt, GE's CEO, has identified Africa as one of the company's most important growth areas, with plans to invest $2 billion in the region by 2018, as well as double its workforce on the continent. African Union wants member states to sign up for a single air transport market and a single currency as part of the Agenda 2063 roadmap on the continent. AU said the project could lead to fewer restrictions on routes and cheaper fares for passengers across the continent. AU's Commissioner for Infrastructure and Energy, Dr. Helam Ibrahim, said 12 countries that have signed up for the initiative could create up to 155,000 jobs and $1.3 billion would be added to their gross domestic product. The African Union Commission hailed South Africa and 11 other countries who have signed up for its ambitious proposal of having a single air transport market on the continent within 2 years. The African Union Commissioner for Economic Affairs, Anthony Maruping, said all African central bank governors have already met and deliberated on the establishment of an African monetary fund. Agricultural consultant and chairman agriculture sector of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Wole Oyekoya, spoke with TVC News on the current high rate of foodstuff in the country.
Definitely, as we have been saying, that the government needs to really tackle the issue of food shortages in this country. If not, we're going to find ourselves in a big problem the same way we are having now. And if you remember that most of the insurgency that we have is in the Northeast, where we're having most of this food stuff coming from the North. So we have been really agitating for the government to really diversify some of this money that given to the North, to the Southwest, or the South, or Southeast, so that we can grow some of this thing that is coming from the North. And if you look at the government issue on the issue of the transformation agriculture agenda, we'll be saying that we need to do more than just propaganda, and you can see the effect that if it is true that we spend trillions of naira on agriculture transformation agenda, we're supposed to be seeing the effect on the people's table. I could say 50% of the food we produce in this country got wasted because there's no storage facility, either cold storage facility to store most of these vegetables. And it's going to be a very big challenge, and the infrastructure have to be improved, which is the power. You can't store anything without the power. So we've been saying this long time ago that listening, the government needs to improve on the infrastructure and the transportation system.
Rwanda is set to introduce open data strategy to stimulate job opportunities for the young people. Open data is information made available by government, businesses and other groups for anyone to read, use and share. Rwanda's Minister of Youth and ICT, Jean-Philbert Nsengimana, said the country is increasingly turning into an information and knowledge-based economy. He noted that Open Data Initiative seeks to increase transparency, accountability, equity, and the relevance, effectiveness, and efficiency of governance. Rwanda commits to move from an agrarian society and economy to one that is based on information and knowledge by 2020. Tanzania's natural gas reserves has increased to 55 trillion cubic feet following new deep-sea discoveries off its southern coast. Energy Minister Jude Simanchewene said natural gas resources discovered in the country increased by 18% in April this year from 46.5 trillion cubic feet last year. He said another great contributor to its economic growth is its agricultural sector, which accounts for 25% of the country's GDP, about 90% of export, and employed more than 50% of the workforce. Tanzania has the second largest economy in East Africa and occupies the number 12th in Africa. Zimbabwe is considering scrapping 15% tax on unrefined platinum exports from the country. Mines Minister Walter Chidakwa said the decline in the output and earnings in the industry was as a result of high levy. He said government introduced a 15% tax on platinum ore export in a bid to compel local processing of the white metal, which accounts for about 60% of Zimbabwe's total mineral shipments. He added that Zimbabwe's current output of 500,000 ounces cannot sustain refining facilities that would require investment of about $2 billion. And several African markets closed Monday in the positive territories. The business pattern at the exchanges portrayed increased flow of funds into market sectors. Many observers believe that portfolio managers were trailing half-year market performances. We begin in Mauritius, where the market closed low after 5 basis points were taken off the index. Market operators pointed to profit-taking on the floor of the exchange, which affected stock prices. In the Tunisian market, stock prices moved up on the back of competitive investment strategies. Technology stocks stayed strong. In Ghana, the market closed in the green as investors were said to have run after cheap stocks, especially in the manufacturing sector. The market rose by 0.19%. The Nigerian market closed in the positive zone. It's responded to increased trade orders that came into the market. The market had been in constant low trade in the previous weeks. And crude oil prices in the global market have stayed mixed following mismatched supplies to demand data. Analysts say oil price crisis may not normalize in the next 3 months. At the London market, the European Brent trades for $63 per barrel, dropping marginally in the early hours of business. For the OPEC basket crude, its price steadies at $61 per barrel. And that's business at this hour. I'm Oluyemisi Dada.